Brahmin life, according to me, has a much more broader perspective rather than what people think about the Brahmin life. Because most of the people think that Brahmin life is very difficult, and to people who live outside, they think that the Brahmin life is very rigid. So there are few souls who have taken the knowledge, but when they see the life of the Brahmins, they feel that it's okay that we have taken the knowledge, but we should kind of keep a distance from the centers thing, because we can't follow the protocols of the Brahmin life, the rigidity, the sets of things being set for the Brahmin life. But according to me, it entirely depends on how you take the lessons for you, for your life. Because everyone has a different sanskar, everyone has a different nature. So you don't have to be really rigid with yourself. The most important thing for me is just to look upon your thoughts, your actions, your words before doing any work in your day-to-day or regular life. That's as simple as just checking yourself in every second of your life, just to make your thoughts elevated, just to make your words elevated so that you don't hurt people, you don't end up hurting your own self. This is the most neglected thing in the world. We think about not hurting others, but we forget that in this journey, somewhere we are hurting our own self also. So that's the quality of entering into a Brahmin life. Like, one thing we have in our Brahmin life is reading the Murli daily. The amazing part of reading the Murli or listening to the Murli is you don't have to be rigid while listening, but at least from 4 pages, you can just take one line that is useful to bring that trigger of change in your life. Maybe it might be a very general point, but that's effective and useful for you. Like I usually say to people that if you actually want a change in your life or want something good to happen in your life, you have to start with a good thought. And that's Murli. You get a lot of good points, good thoughts, just to bring upon a change in your life. Why do we see the rigidity of the Brahmin life? Why do we don't see the fun aspect of Brahmin life? Such a big Brahmin family you can hang around with, you can do things, you can learn at every phase and journey of your life. That's the most important part of the Brahmin life for me. Every habit needs a practice. So if there's something that is bothering you inside and that's disturbing your own self and disturbing your own growth, because sometimes your own thoughts distract you, leads you toward the negative side of you, and you are distressed, you are in pain, you waste your time thinking that why, because of my own thoughts, I'm putting my own self down. And then when your mind gets very low and very sad, then you decide to go to a counselor and counsel yourself. So why don't we start this at an early stage? Not maybe checking every second, but maybe we can increase the time lapse and make it to 1 hour. Every hour you can check yourself. Or start with before going to bed, or just after a situation you get on a day. Start checking from that point. So if it's actually very easy. That's just need you just need to add it as a habit in your daily routine. Like, you don't forget to drink water, you don't forget to nourish your body. The same way, you have to do something to nourish your soul or to nourish your inner self.
So I suppose it's I think when people don't check, I mean, it's like there's an accumulation of stuff that then they don't know, like like collecting too much garbage and then going, oh, what to do with all this? So when people start out, what suggestion would you make to them to create some order in their thinking or in their emotions or whatever? How to start to bring some order, because they don't really, the Murli is a little bit more advanced, I suppose, but just as a beginning point, where would they begin?
That's a very easy thing. First you can do is to write few things down that you're being accumulating for long. And if you don't want to listen to the Murli or don't go along with the Murli, start listening to some good topics people been talking about in YouTube or another social media, so that you get a fair idea of like what spirituality is. Because until and unless you don't get a feeling from within to enter into spirituality, you can't really work upon that. And we usually end up doing that when it's too late. And spirituality, according to me, as of the world's situation now, is a very important food for your soul. And if you don't give any food to the soul, you'll find people moving around in depression. So for me, the good start is start listening to good things that have been recorded, or start talking to people you feel that they're good, they belong to the Brahmin family. You can listen to their experience, listen to the things they have got inside. You can just talk around with any positive topic, start with any positive topic, and that's how you just start a journey. Because the world now is full of shortcuts. So they just want immediate for everything. Like, what is the work of microwave? It's to get your food heated just in seconds. But do you think that microwave is harmless for you? No. The vibrations, the radiations which the microwave has is very harmful for the food. But still, since people don't have time, but now, whatever the world is going through, you need to spend time with your own self. Because we've been through a lot of shortcuts, but we are ending up to no progress and no success. It's like when you have to work for your own self, there is no actual shortcut in life. Till the time we are healthy, we can get along with pills. But when we are too sick, we have to get admitted to the hospital also, take injections, and a lot of things, maybe an operation done. So shortcuts really work if you are giving a regular healthy food to your mind. Then shortcut might work for you. But if you've been in the outside materialistic world for a very long period of time, and you've ended up accumulating a lot of garbage in your mind, then shortcut might not work for you. Because some people stick to some problems. Some people they just overcome with the problem in a while. That's easy for them. So you have to decide what path works for you. What I have learned in these 13 years, there were a few Murlis and where Baba regularly used to say that start being creative with your meditation. I love that line. I simply love that line, because for everything you do in your life, you have to be creative. And your mind is really creative. The only thing is we don't use it in a creative way. Like in my initial days, I was always looking for someone to hug. So then somehow I got to know about the relationship like we can have with the Supreme Soul, that we can consider him to be our beloved, our father, our mother, anything, a friend. So I thought that like if he's my bestie, I surely would want to hug him. How would I do that? Then someone told me that when you go to this soul world, you don't have physical body there. So I was a bit worried, and then I did a churning the whole night, and then I came out with a lovely creative meditation, and that was, I considered myself to be a soul, and Supreme Soul was a soul. So I just took out 2 arms from my soul and 2 arms from the Supreme Soul, and went to the soul world and start hugging the Supreme Soul. So that was my creative thing of meditation, or loving, expressing my love with the Supreme Soul. So in order not to get bored up, you have to be actually creative with the things. That's why in Murlis there is often said as the word used as Karma Yogi. That is, you can be in remembrance of the Supreme Soul even while working. So you can go out for fun, for swimming, for shopping, for hanging around with your friends. But the difference in your view changes. Earlier when we used to go to the party, we had a kind of thing in my mind, what's that wearing, how we have to wear, how we have to dress up, and am I looking beautiful, how's the party going to be, what time we'll be reaching. But now when we go to the party, the view is completely changed. We don't end up wasting a lot of time in dressing our own self. It's like we are being in soul consciousness, and we think that we're just going for service. Maybe we can help someone in the party and just help them to get on with, and this happens with me. Someone or other would come with a problem and say that, wow, without doing anything, without no makeup and anything, you look beautiful. It's our soul power that we radiate there. It's a vibration we radiate there. Because even after being so much dressed up, they're sad inside, they're empty inside. But we are, with full contentment, we go there. So our face, our attitude, our vibrations do a lot of service when we go out. And we feel enjoyed. We feel we've been doing a lot. We don't feel it as a waste of time. So that's the shift, and because I remember that when Brahma Baba was there, he used to take the children up to the mountains, he used to play badminton with them. I've even heard him saying that whenever there was a new sweet coming in the market in the West Bengal part of the region in India, he used to call the best chefs who used to make that special sweet, and then he used to tell one of the dadi or someone to learn that recipe from that chef. And then the dadi used to make that special sweet for all the dadis, because Baba didn't wanted that children should be away from anything that is sweet and that's delicious, that's made outside, and they don't get the taste of it. So that's Brahmin life, because I love cooking, so I even keep experimenting. But the difference is I cook it with more love, search more substitutes for onion and garlic, and the dish seems to be perfectly so tasty and so good. So you can have everything and you can do everything that everyone does, but just with a different consciousness. It's a very easy saying, like when initially I was in Gyan, people used to ask me, when will you get normal? So they thought I am abnormal, because they thought I'm following too many disciplines and there's not much fun in my life, and my life is a bit silent, colorless. But over a period of time, they realize that this is their life even they want. But initially everything feels difficult because you're not used to that things. Once it starts getting into your life as a part of your routine, it starts getting easy. It's because you're getting easy from the mind. When you follow the disciplines, your mind becomes relaxed, light and easy, so your body becomes light. Whatever time you used to invest earlier gets easier now, because the time is saved, because you're light from when you don't have much traffic in your mind. Obviously you get into things very fast. You act fastly, you think fastly. So even the priests and the saints of ancient ages used to say that if you want to make your life discipline, you have to follow certain disciplines in your life. And discipline is always good. I was never a person who was into spirituality. I was a very fancy person. So I don't think so that you have to be easy for that. But if you start loving small things of spirituality and start incorporating, you don't need to follow all the disciplines at once. You can just adopt little disciplines, start from one, and maybe then you end up in hundreds or all the disciplines. When you think of a big thing, it seems to be big. But when you start taking small steps, it starts becoming very easy. So if you're getting up at 9 o'clock in the morning, start getting up at 8. Don't make it 4 at once. So that just needs small steps to take, and you don't have to think actually that I'm not that kind of person, because I feel is what affirmations you give to yourself, you start becoming like that. And when you are in stress, and in this world I don't think so anyone is not in stress. It's almost everyone, each and every soul is facing stress. So when you do it in stress, so why not you do it when you are healthy? Because that's easier to adopt things when you are in a healthy position or a healthy state of mind. There's a difference between mental illness and spirituality. You have to get that judgment of an understanding of what a mental illness or what someone's personal sanskar is and what spirituality is. Because anything that comes upon as a force on you would always break, would never last long. Something that comes deep within and deep inside, that's going to stay long. When I entered into the Brahmin life, I remember there was one dharana of not having onion and garlic. I was not comfortable with that dharana. So I used to have onion and garlic even after 3 years of my being in Gyan. But nobody really forced on me. Few tried to, but I was knowing that I can't do it by force, because some people are able to do it by force. You have to judge yourself, and that comes only through meditation. You have to try and experiment on yourself what's easy going with you. No one can be example for you. That's the most important part of Brahman life, that God, the Supreme Soul, always talk about this point, that you don't have to see any human being as if like what they are doing. Because it might be easy for some of them, because maybe they are born and brought up and used to such kind of sanskars from their childhood, or maybe from their previous birth. But I might not be. So if I have to walk in the path of spirituality, if I choose a path, I should know what my strengths and my weaknesses are. And I have to work accordingly. I can't force anything on myself. Like if someone is doing, that's just comparison that you do in the materialistic world. So how this can be a difference when you are in spiritual life and when you are in the materialistic life? It's same like what you compete and do competition in the school life, in the material life, in the families, in your work life. That's all the same. So I would suggest that start taking good qualities and good things from people rather than adopting or thinking about the big things that they do and you can't do. Just trust the process, and you know when you start getting into the process, you'll get the results. That's very important, being kind to your own self. Because as I said, you can't force anything your own self, because everyone has their own sanskars, own limitations of doing certain things. It might be possible for someone to sit and meditate for hours, but maybe not for me. So It's like the step you take in your life that is important. The journey is important, not the destination. So you have to be cautious and careful. Keep checking your own self, what you're doing throughout the day. How can you contribute? Like just start with 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Don't be rigid on yourself. Don't try to push things in yourself. Because if you are walking in a good path, you will end up in a good way or good place for sure. That's never going to be wrong. And you, every situation that comes in your life comes to teach you something. I strongly believe that it's totally upon you how you want to perceive the things that comes in your journey, part of life. So just look at as a movie going on and be gentle with yourself and you get the results soon.